When I was still scrolling, I scrolled whenever I was bored. When I commuted, I scrolled. When I needed to wait while buying groceries, I scrolled. When I was just bored for 2 seconds, I instantly grabbed my phone unconsciously and scrolled. It was like a reflex, like breathing or blinking. It just happened automatically. But why did I always scroll when I was bored? And how was I able to change it? My name is Marco. I went from being a total phone addict with a screen time of over 8 hours each day, with most of it being scrolling on Insta, TikTok, Shorts, or just binge watching on Netflix and on YouTube. With that, I wasted my most precious resource. I wasted my time. This ruined my life because I was unproductive, I achieved nothing, and I was just lazy every day. And I procrastinated so fucking much. But luckily for me, with hard work, with trial and error, and with consistent work, I was able to stop it. I was able to stop all of my addiction, then reduce my screen time, and then fill my new free time with productive stuff, with stuff that I find enjoyable, with stuff that brings me further in life. With my new free time, I improved my body and went from skinny to muscular. On top of that, I improved my physical and my mental health tremendously. I fixed my poor sleep and now sleep better than 95% of all people. I traveled around in Europe and in Asia. I rediscovered nature and now find the small things in life enjoyable. On top of that, I climbed the highest mountain in Oman. I read around 70 books in German, French and in English. I ran my first competitive 10K and I'm training for a marathon. I started 2 YouTube channels, this one and one in Spanish, and I never spoke a word of Spanish before I started. So I'm learning a new language. I also learned how to play the piano. And most important, I improved my relationship with my family. And I was able to do all of that thanks to my compendious 5 pillars of quitting that helped me tremendously in stopping my phone addiction, stopping my scrolling addiction, stopping and reducing my screen time, and then filling my free time with productive stuff that I find so enjoyable and that brings me so much further in life. So if you also want help with in any of that area, then click the first link in the description. So let's look at why we scroll whenever we are bored and how we can stop it and replace it with good things. Why we scroll when we're bored. I think there are 2 different reasons why we scroll whenever we are bored. And those different steps or those reasons basically intertwine. But for the sake of this video, I split it up in 2 sections. Let's look at the first thing, or the first step. The first reason why we scroll when we are bored is because we numb ourselves. We numb ourselves for different reasons. The first reason is we numb ourselves because of negative emotion. Those negative emotions occurred because of external things. Those external things could be you had a bad breakup, you had a bad discussion with your teacher or with your boss, you had traffic jam, you had just an absolutely worst day of your life. Because of that, you have negative emotions. And you don't want to deal with this negative emotion, so you numb it. You numb it with scrolling, you numb it with entertainment. Simply because you don't want to face it. You don't want to face the uncomfortableness, the reality of the situation. So you numb it. The second reason why we numb it is because of internal reasons. The internal reason is basically when we say to yourself, oh, we want to do X or Y. Let's say you want to do a project. You say to yourself, oh, tomorrow I will work 2 hours on this project. Then tomorrow comes and you don't do it. You procrastinate, you do something instead. Because you procrastinate, because you delay it, you feel bad. You have also negative emotion. Because you have negative emotion, because you procrastinated, you numb yourself with entertainment and with scrolling. So that's another reason why you numb. Like I said, you basically numb emotions and especially negative emotions. And negative emotions are basically also boredom. Boredom is a negative emotion. Boredom is an uncomfortable emotion. So if you feel bored, you want to numb it. And you want to numb it with something, anything. It doesn't matter what. So that's why you scroll, even though you know it's bad, because you want to numb it. The next reason why you scroll when you're bored is simply you don't know what to do instead. You are aimless. Maybe you have no hobbies, maybe you have no habits, maybe you have no goals and no direction. With that, you are aimless. And this is very fucking bad. I'll tell you why. Right now, you are a pilot. You are a pilot who's very good at his job of flying. But when you go to the cockpit of the plane and then you need to fly somewhere, but you have no destination, you have no coordinates you need to fly toward, so you just fly up in the sky and just circle around your city or your country for a bit and then come back to airport. You could fly 10 hours and never reach your destination because you have no goal. What do you need to do? You need to become the pilot who has a destination, who has a goal. Because if you're that pilot, you could be a worse pilot, but still, if you fly for 10 hours, you can reach another continent. Why? Because you had a destination and a goal at the horizon. So that's what you need to do. The problem is you don't know what to do because you have no goals, no direction, and you don't know what to do with your free time. So you always choose to scroll. So how can you fill it? How can you fix it and fill your day with stuff you actually want to do? The thing you need to know is when you stop scrolling and when you cut it out of your life, then you will create a vacuum. You will create a time vacuum because scrolling took up so much time, or just binge watching took up so much time, that now this time is a vacuum. If you don't fill it, it will close again with unproductive things. So you need to fill the time vacuum as good as possible with productive habits, with productive things you want to do and you need to do. How can you do this? How can you fill the time? First, find out what you want to do in life. Journal about it. Speak about it. Have discussion about it. Meditate about it. Just think about what you want to achieve in life. Find out the destination, find out the goal or the coordinates you want to go. Become the pilot who has a destination, so you actually know where to fly to, where to go to, where to work toward. That's the first thing you need to do. Find out what you want to do. The next thing is you need to find out what you're interested in. Develop hobbies in that area. Develop skills in that area. Think about what do you like. Maybe you like cycling, so start cycling, start developing hobbies around that area. Maybe you like craftsmanship, so develop a hobby or a skill towards that interest. Find out what you're interested in and then pursue that. Then if you know what you want to do, then join a seminar, join a club, join a coaching, whatever, just so you can actually do those things. You may have some questions like, what are good habits? What habits can you do instead of bad habits? The first thing you need to understand is you need to replace all bad habits with good habits. Why? Because of the time vacuum principle. If you don't replace it, it will fill up again with the bad habits. So if you want help to stop scrolling so you can create this time vacuum and then fill your free time with productive stuff, then click the first link in the description. Some good habits that I would recommend for you to improve your life, to make it easier in life, to just improve your life over a long period of time and that you should do every day are 4 essential habits. Those habits are exercise, meditation, reading and journaling. If you do those things, those 4 habits, then you will have a pretty good life. Other habits you can do are habits that align with your interest. Like I said, if you're passionate about fiction books, if you're passionate about fiction and fantasy, then reading is a good habit. If you're passionate about countries, then learning a new language is perfect. Just find habits that align with stuff you want to do. Then how can you be consistent? First, do something you find enjoyable. If you try to do something that you don't like, then it's pretty hard to be consistent. But if you find something that you find enjoyable, that's also good for you, then it's pretty easy to be consistent with it. Do the thing or the habit every week at the same time, at the same place, at the same hour every day. Why? Because then your brain will associate that day, that time with this specific thing. Let's say you want to learn a new language. The easiest way or a good way is you learn or you practice 1 hour every day at 4 p.m. If you do this every day, your brain will associate 4 p.m. with learning a language. So after a period of time, you will instantly grab the book or the app to learn the language. So this is a pretty simple life hack to make it easier. Then the last thing is make progressive overload. Start small, like in the gym, where we start with first 1 kg, then 1.5, 2, and so on. Do this also with habit and skill. For learning a language, is starting with 10 words each day. And then over a period of time, you increase the time you learn or the value you learn or the volume you learn. And this will make it easier to stick to it. If you want help with stopping your phone addiction, with stopping your scrolling addiction, with reducing your screen time, with then filling your new free time with productive stuff, with hobbies, habits, skills that actually brings you further in life, that are purposeful to you, then click the first link in the description. There you will come to my compendious 5 pillars of quitting that will help you with all of those things. So if you want help, then you must click the first link in the description. On that note, have a great day, sleep well, and I see you in the next one. Goodbye!